to the polls or to return their mail-in ballots. It is hard work. You have to fight for every single ballot. And in these races, they don't have quite as much money, obviously, as a presidential race. So they're fighting even harder because they have less resources to convince these voters that I still don't understand why they don't vote in off years, but they don't. So that's where this race is going to be won. Chitterelli has to convince all our voters to get out, but also New Jersey's tough because there's so many unaffiliated voters, and it's hard to know. Do we get those to the people to the polls because we don't know how they're going to vote? So it's tough. It's tough, and as someone who's been in so many campaigns, I like to just keep my head down and keep working and saying the only poll that matters is election day, and I just never take my foot off the gas.
One thing I will say about, and I'll bring it back to a Pennsylvania election. Every time I see John Fetterman's face, I think that should be Kathy Barnett, who you guys know I adore Kathy. She came out of nowhere. They did not see Kathy coming. You know what she did? She did the good old fashioned. She literally went across Pennsylvania at that time and she just knocked on doors. To meet Kathy Barnett is to love her. If you meet her in person, you love the woman. She's full of ideas. She's an extremely hardworking person. She's full of integrity and passion. And that's what she did. She won Montgomery County. I mean, that was an incredible race.
It
okay?
was, yeah.
And so I know I'm not going to go into the weeds of that, but I'm simply saying for Jack, if you meet Jack Chitterelli, if you meet him in person, you spend a minute with him, you like him, you know he's smart, he's run businesses. Yes, he's worked in government before in New Jersey, but the man also has been in the private sector, and especially when it comes to financial issues, he's that guy. I'm sure he's ready to lose his voice, but I'm telling you, Jack, go door to door. Because on the other hand, look at what might happen when Mikey Sherrill, she's already in Congress. And they ask her a simple question and she's like, well, I'd declare an emergency. What? She doesn't have the answers.
Reminds me of our friend Kamala Harris.
Yes. And they hid her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Jack Chitterelli, go do the old fashioned and get your daughter, Alex, who's fabulous, go door to door. And I'm really serious. Go to local little community stuff. That's why this big event coming up October 10th, it's going to be huge. But if you meet Jack, you're going to vote for Jack.
I absolutely. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania, so I can't.
Yeah,
vote
we
for Jack.
can't. We can pray.
But I have relatives in New Jersey. You just have to keep reminding people to return their ballot or show up on election day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So true.
Because I think the people listening to us today, they're an echo chamber. They're going to vote, so they have to get their friends, the kids who are away at college, to remind them to vote. Every vote helps.
Yeah, it's so in this one, which poll is this? I'll just round this out really quick. So in this one, it's this is the New York Post just put this out. They're saying Mikey Sherrill narrowly edging out Jack Chitterelli 48.1% to 45.8%. And so if you look at the margin of error, obviously that's a virtual tie in that one. So
yeah, the poll, I mean, it depends on who's taking the poll, but also I think when the polls, it looks like, our guys gaining, I think it helps morale. It helps remind people that their vote's going to matter, because sometimes, people see a poll and say, oh, my vote's not going to count, I'm going to stay home. And we can't have that. We need everybody out.
Yeah, and to your point, Linda, you talked about, getting the vote out. This one shows those independent voters 51% to 38%. And I think that's that's a huge changeover.
So they're 51% for Jack.
For Jack Chitterelli.
That's significant.
And that's the big, as far as how are those independents, because obviously in New Jersey, Democrats outnumber Republicans. So we have that one. Can you stay for another segment? Because we were having way too much fun there.
Oh,
absolutely.
Do you mind?
All right. Linda Kearns, this is the only time in your life you'll ever get a lawyer for free, if you will.
Serenaded by Elvis.
A high-quality lawyer for free, yes. That's all right. All right, we'll be right back. I don't know if you want to take any calls, 855-839-1210. If you have a question for Linda, one of the things that we can talk about, there's a lot to talk about, but right now, as far as like younger, let's say 20-somethings, 30-somethings, even my teenagers, they talk about money a lot. And so with dating, I find this fascinating. People are looking at the credit score of somebody they're dating.
How are they finding it? That's supposed to be private.
I don't even know. And that's, but apparently maybe they're
It's going on
asking the
dating
question,
profiles, maybe like Tinder. I got
right?
a 800 plus.
Like, what is your credit score? Maybe they demand to see it. So we got to talk about
Well,
this.
as someone who practices divorce law, that probably is not a bad thing to look into when you're dating somebody.
So this is a
Can they
great one.
manage
Yeah.
money? Absolutely.
So we'll tackle that one among other issues when we come right back.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly. This service is available based on Medicaid eligibility. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782. That's 267-692-3782. To get started today, you get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Your roof isn't just shingles and nails, it's an investment in your home's future. Hi, this is Matt from Emmons Roofing and Siding. At Emmons, we use and install only top-tier roofing and siding materials that help boost your home's curb appeal and help your home's resale value. As you know, the most expensive project is the one you have to do twice, so get the job done right the first time with Emmons. Call us today at 856-556-3229 or visit callemmons.com. From the main line to the shore, from top to bottom, inside and out, at Emmons, we have you covered.
Fall is in the air. The leaves are turning, the games are on, and it's the perfect season for something truly one of a kind. At Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square, custom jewelry isn't just a service, it's a passion. For 35 years, this family-owned business has created timeless, handcrafted pieces that tell your story, all designed and made in-house. And when it comes to jewelry that stands out, don't forget the fifth C. Cut, color, clarity, carat, and cozy. Make this fall unforgettable with Cozy Jewelers.
Ready to grow your savings and plant the seeds for a stronger financial future? With a growth savings account from First Harvest Credit Union, you can earn up to 3.15 annual percentage yield and enjoy flexible access to your funds. Or explore our competitive certificate and IRA specials to cultivate even more growth. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth savings or stop by your nearest branch to get started. First Harvest Credit Union, empowering members to do more for 85 years. Membership restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Little. Linda loves Elvis, if you didn't know. Everybody should know by now.
I am really afraid I'm coming across as a kook, though.
Not at all.
Just now.
I love that you love Elvis.
Yes, Dan, it just occurred to me.
Believe me, Elvis is like David, teenager, like in high school, he started liking Elvis.
Yeah, I think the estate
you know what
does
I
a
mean?
good job at continuing to introduce him to new generations.
How much of it was a movie though? Because that kind of,
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
mo-
that's
yeah.
you know,
The
Good
movie,
point.
yeah.
it's a pretty
The
good
movie
movie
was
too.
good.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
And then there was the movie out on Priscilla too, which was good because they addressed it from her perspective.
Nobody
so.
saw that one.
I saw it.
So just to wrap up the conversation, thank you, Rosalie, on our YouTube chat. That it's the Hit the Road Jack tour at the so he's going to be this evening 5 to 6 p.m. 206 Haddon Ave, Haddon Township, New Jersey, outside the Reunion Hall. So I guess it's a Chitterelli event. Is that right? No, is this one? This is an anti-Jack one. Is it an anti-Jack event?
And either way, we're going.
Support Mikey. Show New Jersey we won't tolerate. Okay, so are you going? Tell me, are you going to an anti-Jack? That's what this is. Is that what Rosalie's going to? Yeah, it's and smart.
So
smart.
is she anti-Jack or does she want to go in
No,
her
no.
Jack outfit and her Jack sign
Right.
and show her
So
support?
show
Good.
your support, please, you guys. This is important. This is from 5 to 6 this evening, Haddon Township, New Jersey, right outside Reunion Hall, and it's an anti-Jack Chitterelli thing. They want to support Mikey. So the point is, if you can go, and they're saying peaceful protest alert, but so I guess it's going to be a pro-Jack, anti-Jack situation.
Well, wait a minute, Dawn. If the only thing Mikey can come up with is
Anti-Jack. That's right.
I mean, what
What
does
do you
she have
stand
to
for?
offer? Yeah, that's yeah.
So that's really, so what do you stand for?
So that's a good sign for us, I hope.
So we stand for Jack
Absolutely.
because he stands for something. Anyway, so let's move on. This is my question. How do you look up somebody else's credit score? Now, Linda, as you well know, election integrity attorney, top Trump election integrity attorney, but also a family attorney. So you see your fair. How many divorce cases, can we ask you this? How many divorce cases do you handle? A lot?
You know, people
can you give us
ask
a
me
guesstimate?
that a lot. I mean, now, well, I don't
A
want,
lot? Post-pandemic?
being in the ripe old age of, how old am I now? 30?
We're all 30. Linda,
39
we're
and
all
holding.
39 and holding.
I've never really counted, and also the way divorce works, especially in Pennsylvania, because it takes a long time. A divorce can take 4 years, and sometimes the cases are kind of quiet.
Mhm.
So I may have a ton of cases that are active, but not everybody is. Not everybody's case is really, causing me a lot of work at any given time. So it just really depends. But oh no, I'm quite busy with that. That's kind of like a recession-proof type of job.
Like the
Some-
funeral,
Yeah.
the funeral home business.
Seems that
People are always going to die and get divorced.
People always need it. I know it's kind of sad. And what I say to people is, I'm not pro divorce. I'm pro marriage. I think society would be better if people, graduated from high school, got an alarm clock, got a job, got married, had kids in that order, and stayed married. But the reality is, not everyone stays together. So, keeps me in business.
Wow. So in this one, and you should always, go to that pre-Cana and a lot of, faith-based, whether it's the church or the synagogue, they'll say before you get married, take the class, to discuss finances.
Well, what I find is people don't discuss that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, and they spend way more time and resources on the wedding. And I
Mhm.
have just this general kind of theory that the success of the marriage is sometimes inversely proportional to how big the wedding is. In other words, if it's this huge splashy wedding and that's all they're thinking about, then they might not have the preparation for a really good, strong marriage. And they should use all that focus on marriage, because marriage isn't easy.
And so in this one, what about a prenup? So people are waiting to get married, waiting, after their career. I know that the trend now is to try to get people to just get married younger. But what about people who both are established, they have their job? Is a prenup something that you recommend and something you're seeing more of?
Well, yes, I do, and I do quite a few of those. I wish I could get the Taylor Swift prenup. How can I get that? That lawyer's going to make a lot of money on that one. But prenups do serve the number one function is I think it causes the people to talk about it, because I think so many people get married and don't talk about, well, I'm a spender, I'm a saver. This is how much I make. I have this much in credit card debt. I don't mind, running up a debt. I pay my bills off every month. So a prenup causes you to talk about all that. And in order for a prenup to be valid, it's different in every state. But in Pennsylvania, there must be full and fair disclosure of your assets and debts and income. So you know what you're getting into, you know what the other person has. But I do think that, especially if you do have assets, if you have a house, if you have a retirement plan, if you've maybe inherited money, it's not a bad idea to get a prenup to protect that. But the thing is, I've had to do a lot of divorces where someone got a bad prenup, like the person who wrote it
Yeah.
didn't know what they were doing. So you really have to, they cost money, and you have to be ready to go to a professional and really get one done and get it done right, like everything in life.
Yeah, and so in this one, and I saw that, prenups are, there was just an article just this week talking about this, that they have prenup parties actually in places like Palm Springs. I think
Well,
a prenup party, that's more like for Don Jr. Do you know what I mean?
and marriage is a serious endeavor, and I'm
Hmm.
not sure you should be having a prenup party. It kind of takes away from the seriousness of the marriage.
I've never
But
heard of that
but I
one.
guess if you live in Palm Beach,
You know.
there's a party for everything.
Yeah, party for reason to party. This is new research showing young Americans growing interest in these prenup contracts, that they're pretty hot. And part of it is, yes, people getting married later in life. And I'm going to bring in Dan again. Sorry, but
Hmm.
you guys are, Dan has already, his life is an open book, the student debt crisis.
Yep.
And so if somebody comes into the marriage with a huge amount of debt, I have a close family member, maybe I shouldn't out him, but I have a close family member who, so she went into the marriage with her parents paying for the wedding, had saved up a lot of money for her, and she came into the marriage with zero debt, even like not $1 on a credit card. Her husband, however, went into the marriage with about 30K worth of debt. And so at that point, are you transparent, and would you recommend a prenup in something like that?
Well, I would have to know more about like how much the people earn, and also their ages, because generally, like the younger you are, unless
Mhm.
someone is going to have a very different earning capacity, like maybe someone is in a profession where they're going to be making, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the other person's not, that might be a reason for a prenup. Or if there's family money, I do a lot of those to protect family money. Um, and the other thing you can do with prenups is something called a sunset provision, where if you stay married a certain amount of time, you claw back some of the things that you were going to protect anyway. So I think, I know I saw Nicole Kidman's getting a divorce for the second time. I think they
Oh,
had that in her first
With
prenup
Tom
with Tom
Cruise?
Cruise. Yeah, like they had to stay married a certain amount of time, but he filed for divorce before that time.
I got a
So,
question. Say the
sure.
student loan is taken out as an individual prior to marriage. What is that state law based as to who assumes that? Say, is it the individual who assumes the debt?
So in Pennsylvania, if a student loan's taken out prior to the marriage, it remains that other person's debt. Where I see that becoming a problem is like the example Dawn told us, where the one of the people doesn't have debt, and then they use marital resources to pay off that
Mm-hmm.
student loan, and then all of a sudden they get a divorce, and the person who paid it off said, "My God, I wouldn't have, used my
Ah.
money to pay off your debt, because we can't go back and undo that." Whereas a prenup can address those types of things ahead of time.
So I have a question for you, because we have a lot of parents, loving parents, grandparents, and let's say that your granddaughter, who's 23, she's getting married, and you've put money away for her, whatever. And so can you, with inheritance, like you're saying, like let's say that she's going to get your house or a certain amount of money that you've set up for a child or grandchild, can you put it in some kind of a trust for them, to, because they're saying, well, I feel uncomfortable with this, so they're not going to do a prenup. Can a parent, grandparent, godparent, you're going to leave jewelry and estate, money, etc., Can you set something up where that's protected?
You absolutely can. The problem is that costs money to set that up.
It
So
does.
you'd really have to figure out, is this an asset that I'd want to spend even more money putting into a trust? In Pennsylvania, the way inheritances work is if you receive an inheritance during the marriage and keep that inheritance separate, meaning you keep it in your separate account, that remains your separate property, even in the event of divorce. The only thing that would be divisible upon divorce is if that inheritance grows in value, that growth would be considered marital. So if you inherit $100,000 from your grandfather, put it in a separate account, you don't touch it. You go to get a divorce and it's accrued $50,000 in interest. That first $100,000 is yours. That's not part of the divorce, but the $50,000 growth would be.
Really?
Absolutely, absolutely. People don't understand that.
How do you get around that?
A prenuptial agreement.
Or you invest it like in Switzerland or something so they can't
Well,
find
no,
it.
no, Dawn. My clients don't hide their assets in
never.
other countries. Please.
I swear, I've been married 25 years. Okay, I'm not.
Hey now.
But I went there because that's how you think. Like, you know what I mean? You think all sneaky stuff,
Yeah, yeah. And then
you get in trouble, I guess.
a lot of times you try the sneaky stuff and it really backfires. And everyone's convinced their spouse is hiding money. And, I've looked at so many people's situations, their tax returns and so forth, and I can kind of tell. Like, they're convinced that the spouse hid all this money over the years. But if they're both making, combined less than $100,000, I say, well, how did they have money to hide? This is enough to, keep, pay for your living expenses. But come on, like there's not enough here to accrue lots of money. So a lot of times I can look at the tax returns and the assets and figure out if something doesn't look right.
What's the craziest divorce, like something crazy that happened? Somebody hid something, or do you have you must have some doozies.
I think I do, but I also think that I have this defense mechanism where once it happens, I just put it out of my head. Because I think if I thought about all this, I'd probably just have a heart attack over it. But I mean, I've had people spend tons of money and fight over just the silliest things, and I say, look, I said you can spend money fighting over this, or go out and buy don't pay me, just go out and buy a new one. So that's a lot of times what I have to tell
It's
people.
the baggage.
You have to look at it like a business decision.
I don't know if I want to ask this,
What?
Dawn, but I'm just curious.
What?
Linda, has this job affected your personal life in any ways? Like, have you reconsidered how you look at love or marriage or anything like that because you deal so closely with individuals who are going
like a
through
jaded news person or a jaded.
That's exactly where I'm going with it. Yes.
Well, I do think that I realize that things are often not as they seem. Because if you remember, you guys asked me on air about that Coldplay couple, and we just assumed that the both of them were in these great marriages, and then that broke up a marriage. And I said, if you remember, I said, we don't know what's going on. They could be separated behind the scenes. You don't know. That wife might not be the innocent victim. And it turned out that the one was already in the midst of a divorce. So you just never know. And another thing it's taught me is, I grew up in Delaware County and I mean, in a middle-class household. So we certainly weren't wealthy. And I used to look at drive by those houses on the main line, or see my friends with these expensive cars and think, oh, wow, those people must have such an easy life and so much money. But then when you get into my profession, you realize some of those houses are mortgaged to the hilt.
Yes.
And they don't have money, and the car is about to be repossessed. So you just can't assume, and this also goes to social media too. You can't assume just because what you're looking at that's what's going on. There's always something behind the scenes. You really have to think about that.
So you texted me last night or the other day, and you said you had a surprise.
I do. So, Dawn, I think that you're always talking about the news and other people.
Yeah.
And I came up with interview questions to interview you.
Oh, gosh.
I love this.
What?
Wait a minute. I did not give Dan any warning. The fact that he had that sound effect at his fingertips.
I thought you guys planned something that's hysterical.
Absolutely not.
That's how
Boy,
good Dan
he's
is.
good on that.
Oh, yeah, I
board.
had no idea about this. Yeah.
Okay, so Dawn, are you ready for the
I'm
first
ready.
question? All right. And so, Dawn, you have no idea, right? I
No.
didn't send these to you? Okay. All right, my first question would be tonight. And this is to kind of I want the audience to get to know you even more. Tonight, if you could have dinner with anyone in the world, living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow, that's a tough one.
Oh God, I can answer it. I would
Tonight,
I would have,
Donald.
This one
I
was
would
I would
easy
have it
for
with
Linda.
Elvis. I mean, but go ahead.
Elvis. You'd go Elvis.
Absolutely.
I
Love
have
it.
to go with right in the moment. I have to, besides saying like my grandmother Violet, who you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I won't go non-family. I will say. I would say Trump.
Really? I would have thought you
President
would have said
Trump.
Melania.
Oh.
Well, the Trumps,
Okay.
Trumps.
the president and first lady.
Can I ask a follow-up
both
question?
Together, not alone.
What would be the killer topic at the dinner table between you, Larry, Trump, and Melania? And by killer topic, I mean like the one that really takes off and
Yeah,
gets
what
you
would
guys
you
going.
ask him? What would you ask the president at dinner?
With
Would it be about the sons? You think? Like
president and first lady would be the kids.
Yeah.
Because Barron and David. So what you should know, because people always go, "Oh, you love Trump," but I love the family. I've actually followed Melania, from before they were married, like before when they were dating. I looked her up, and when she was even after they were newly married, and she had the QVC line, and she was on the cover of Philadelphia Style magazine. I
Right.
still have that magazine cover. So I just liked her and her backstory. But I interviewed Ivana Trump when I was a cub reporter in Chicago with one of her books.
Wow.
And did a long form news story that I think aired at CBS Network as well. But Ivana, Mrs. Trump, and obviously she's in heaven now, and I was so sad when she died and asked Eric Trump about. But like Ivana Trump was like such a sweetheart. And
I
she's
bet,
like,
yeah.
had that accent, the beautiful. And she was like, "What are you doing, darling?" And because I was a cub reporter, and she was so kind and
That-
gave me advice.
That's what I want you to ask Melania, because like her and Arnold Schwarzenegger, people like that, they've been in this country for like 25 years. When are they going to lose the accent? That's what I would
ever
ask her.
do, right? But yeah, believe me, if I had that accent, like I love that accent.
That's the thing is like when it's sexy like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you know, you
Like-
kind of want to keep it, right?
I'm in this city now, and I'm still talking like this because it's better than your stupid Philadelphia accent. It sounds, no. But yeah, that would be my thing, Larry and I, to have dinner with.
Could you imagine if
President
Ava
and First
Gabor
Lady.
spoke with no accent?
But no, we probably talk. So Barron and my David are born in the same year. Just Barron was born in the early spring, and then David was born in the late fall, but the same year.
So
Our
okay.
babies, the youngest, born in the same year.
Well, that brings me to my next question. And I think this question is going to help the listeners. You're not a full empty nester, but you did have to send your son off to college. And I think I did hear you. How many times have you been down there in the
I
last
know.
month? 4, 5, 6? But how are you dealing with your son being away?
It's weird. Like, luckily, I still have one at home, but it's weird. It's just so bizarre.
Okay, so tell me if this is too much. I know someone who went to law school and then got a clerkship with a federal judge, which is a really prestigious job. And he went back to live with his parents during the clerkship. And every morning, his mother would wake up, make his breakfast, and go out and start his car so it would be warm.
Oh, come on.
Now, is that too much, Dawn, or would you do that?
I would never do that. Because see, here's
Wait, how old was he when he's doing his clerkship? I got to ask. Like
That's
his
pretty
mid-20s,
cool.
you want to say?
Yeah, you're like
20.
24. Yeah.
See,
But Dan, you have to understand that's moms and their sons. You're
Yeah.
going to have a daughter, so it's dads and their daughters.
Oh,
That's a
trust me,
really-
I just
This is
spent an
true.
extended weekend dealing with the mom and son relationship,
Yeah.
and it's a great thing, you know. Yeah.
So, Dawn, when your son comes back and gets his first job, are you gonna? Well, see, you'll be at the radio station. How are you gonna run out and warm up his car for him?
I have to be careful because my husband Larry might be in the car driving home from his New York job, and so the problem is Larry's like, really, well, if this were David or Michael, you'd be fill in the blank. You know what I mean? So I have to be very. Oh no, I wouldn't do any of that, Linda.
There's always been a competition between Larry and the kids.
Oh yeah.
You did this for
Yeah.
them. Why not me?
Like poor Buddy passed away. We lost Buddy, but he would. So when Buddy was alive, then Larry would go, yeah. First it's the kids, then it's the dog, and then somewhere it's the husband. You know what I mean? But
I feel about the same myself. At this
you know.
point, yeah.
Well, okay, so that leads me to my next
Let's
question.
go.
Then you brought up Larry. Excuse me.
She's
So,
gonna get me in big trouble.
all right, if in the movie about your life, who would play you? Who would play Larry?
Oh. I have no idea. I don't know.
That's a good question.
I have no idea.
There's no actress beautiful enough to
you're
play
so
Dawn.
sweet. Who's a brunette? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
I have to think about it.
I know, that's a tough, especially if, like, I'm not too much into it. That Zioli would be able to answer that question because he's just constantly talking about movies.
How
and-
about we search brunette actresses in their late 30s?
Brunette. Yeah, looking at
in their late 30s?
in their late 30s, right?
Yes.
I have no idea. Who
Kate
would be?
Beckinsale?
Oh, maybe it's that Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
She'd be
yeah,
a good
who's a
with
brunette.
her long. Dark
And then who's
hair.
Would Katy Perry want to come into acting?
Katy Perry?
No, you're better looking
and
than
then
Katy
Larry
Perry. I
Bear, who looks like Larry with the tall, handsome, blonde.
It would have to be the most
blue-eyed,
handsome actor in the
handsome, he's
world.
So dashing.
I
have
could
no
see
idea.
Alexandra Daddario playing a young
Ooh,
Dawn
thank you.
Stensland.
You guys are so complimentary.
Yeah.
I have no idea, Linda. I really don't. Sorry.
I'll do one last question, and then I'll save the rest for next time.
Who?
You used to when you worked with Zioli, and
Yes.
it was the Dawn Stensland show, and Zioli was the sidekick.
That's
how I like
never
to think
happened.
of it.
Never happened.
Sometimes I listen to Zioli if I'm in the car, like I feel like I'm going to run off the road laughing because he just when he gets revved up. Can you remember a time when you just were on the air with him and you just couldn't control your laughter, or
Oh,
did
yeah.
that happen all the time?
See, that's the whole thing. That now he has, and I know you love Matt DeSantis.
Oh, that cutie.
But I know you love Matt, but he has that goofy like laugh. Okay, so here's the thing with Zioli, because we started on afternoons with Greg Stocker, and Greg can vouch for this. I did the news like every 15 minutes, a short newscast. My job was just laughing. It was the easiest job. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, you get paid to give like a short headline newscast and then laugh for 4 hours." It was the easiast gig ever. I didn't have to do any research.
Did
It
you
was,
ever
like,
just
so
lose
easy.
control and have
Oh,
to
yeah.
turn off your mic?
Greg can tell you.
How about Kevin Costner and Zoe Deschanel?
Oh wow.
Isn't there like a
He's still
40-year
working on
age
that.
difference between the two of them?
Yeah, you have to get somebody. He's better than.
I think Kevin Costner's in his 70s.
Yeah, he's still smoking hot.
That is true.
Is
That
Larry
is
not?
true.
No, I mean Kevin Costner. I was.
I
saying.
know, but so
he's
is Larry,
like,
no?
But you have to get the same age of like people.
I'm talking about being smoking
I know
hot.
he's still looking at that. No, but with Zioli, that was my afternoon job. We just like giggle. I would just giggle the entire time.
Yeah.
And just give a few headlines. That was like my gig was done. It was much easier. I wasn't actually working, and now, I have to actually work. So
Well,
there's that.
I probably shouldn't ask that question because Zioli has enough of an ego as it is. I don't need to keep
Shots
on
fired.
But I also made it, like, I think having.
we are New Jersey.
But I also think when you do 4 hours, it's nice to have a news. So maybe Matt, who I know is just eye candy for some and giggling. Matt should have to do some news headlines.
Matt?
Yeah,
Matt
he should
is-
have to give some
You're
headlines.
right, but he
graduated
Matt
from
is-
Harvard.
and he is such a hard worker. I mean, Zioli came with me to D.C. in the spring to a Republican National Lawyers Association meeting,
Yeah.
and he was on site and he did his show from the meeting. And I actually had to serve as his producer. I was running around getting people who were, interviews and so forth.
That's
and he's-
amazing.
And he's texting me all day, and I fell in love with Matt even more because
I'll tell you
Zioli
what,
is
I'm
not-
skimming through these photos. These are pretty good-looking camels.
Good one. Good grab. Good, Dan.
Dan, how do you have all that at your
I know.
fingertips?
There's a soundboard
He's
here.
quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah. I can't find the Kensington one, which is disappointing.
Matt! Remember that? The Kensington hottie?
Yeah.
Linda Kearns, we're out of time.
There we are.
Thank you. Look at Linda is
Oh,
like
it
amazing.
it went by so quickly.
She
Well,
makes homemade vanilla extract with bourbon. Oh my gosh, look at this. Can you guys see this? She made this for me. I'm hiding this.
Where's mine?
Lair Bear, don't you?
I got you a teddy bear for your,
For your baby.
baby. Do I need to bring a present every
know.
time?
Oh, he got one.
Linda Kearns,
Thank
until
you,
next
Linda.
Wednesday.
It was great. I loved it.
We love you. Love, Linda. That's what we'll call this. Love, Linda. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
We're way over time. Quick break. We have breaking news right around the
Bob
corner.
McGinnis, too.
And oh my gosh, we have Bob. We're going to talk war. The Department of War is Trump. They're making fun of our beloved Trump, Amy. For Trumpaholics, we got to spank everybody. We have a lot to talk about. Be right back.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-554-3775. That's 800-554-3775. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-554-3775. That's 800-554-3775 today.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. For years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Omega-3s as part of my daily routine. They support a healthy heart, cholesterol levels, reduce inflammation, and provide joint comfort. Taking them is one of the easiest things I can do for my health. Now it's your turn. Give your body the support it needs to stay healthy, strong, and active with one of Rescue's Omega-3 supplements. Right now, use that code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any Rescue Omega-3 supplement, including their most popular Rescue 1250. Call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code OMEGA50 online at res-q.com. Remember the code OMEGA50. That's OMEGA50 to buy one and get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free at res-q.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-260-1679. 800-260-1679. Again, that's 800-260-1679.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
With the crisp fall air just around the corner, let's talk about your fireplace. That's right, you heard me.
Do you have an old, drafty, or smelly fireplace? For over 30 years, Rettinger Fireplace has been transforming fireplaces in the tri-state area into beautiful, authentic, and efficient systems easily operated by remote control. Want to love your fireplace again? Call 855-GET-RET to schedule your free consultation or visit RettingerFireplace.com. Choose Rettinger Fireplace, where details make the difference.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
The government partial shutdown, it begins. Oh, and they are so divided. The name calling, it reminds me of children in many ways because none of us grown-ups, like on the job. Can you imagine on your job if you failed to come to an agreement and things partially shut down? Nobody does this. It's not acceptable. But the finger pointing begins. Who do you blame? So, Dan, I know that the Republicans, the GOP, they just held a news conference. They're speaking out. We've been talking about this all morning long because this started more than 11 hours ago, the shutdown. So who do you want to do first here? Do you want to Speaker Johnson?
Yeah, Speaker Johnson first with the overall message there.
Mike Johnson.
There's nothing new in this legislation. There's no poison pill. There's no partisan tricks. There's no gimmicks whatsoever. The only difference today is the man who is sitting in the Oval Office. Rather than work with President Trump and Republicans to get this job done, as our party has done repeatedly in the same situation over the years, Democrats want to play political games with the lives and the livelihoods of Americans. The simple truth is Democrats in Congress have dragged our country into another reckless shutdown to satisfy their far-left base. That is the truth.
President,
whether or not the government remains open or reopens is entirely up to them. There's still time for Democrats to pass this clean bipartisan bill that's sitting before them, and we encourage our Democrat colleagues to do that. I certainly pray they'll come to their senses soon and do the right and responsible thing.
So this is, that's House Speaker Mike Johnson. Let's listen on the Senate side. Here is Senator Thune.
President, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, we're all united on this. And what's interesting now is some of the Democrats are joining us. Our vote last night was a bipartisan vote. There were 3 Democrats that came over and voted with us because they know this strategy is a losing one, and it hurts the American people. It's not about who wins or who loses or who gets blamed in all this. It's about the American people. And they have taken the American people hostage in a way that they think benefits them politically, but at the consequence and the cost of what's going to happen to the American families if this government shutdown continues.
And you can hear the wind noise on the microphones. I'll just point out to you, it's very windy with Hurricane Imelda. You know, that's, by the way, Bermuda is in the path for that. As far as what President Trump has said, remember that he, with DOGE and reshaping the federal government, already on track to basically push out hundreds of thousands of workers. And we've been talking about the DOGE and how Biden, the previous administration, had hired a ton of people to essentially boost boost the numbers, the job numbers, but those were created. So part of that, they were recent hires. But in this one, President Trump had said, you better watch out because we have an opportunity that we could cancel out some of these jobs and get rid of them. That was a threat and a warning that Trump made. But let's hear J.D. Vance, the vice president, issuing a little bit of an unusual warning, but he was making the rounds and speaking out this morning.
When I talked to the president and our legislative team yesterday afternoon, I thought we would get 53, 54 votes. We got 55 votes because, again, that moderate faction of the Senate Democrats recognizes this is just an unreasonable position. You're not going to shut down the government because you disagree about a funding program that doesn't even expire for another few months. So I think what's going to happen is that as the political pressure builds and as we continue to have these negotiations, you're going to see more and more Democrats come to the side of reason and reopen the government. But look, I'd offer right now to the Senate Democrats, I'm happy. I will go to the Capitol right now to talk to Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats about premium support for the Affordable Care Act, but only after they've reopened the government. You can't reward this exercise in hostage taking, which is what we would be doing if we allowed the government opening to be conditional on the Democrats' policy disagreements. So we're going to negotiate with them. We, of course, want to lower health care costs for the American people. Look, we inherited this economy from the Biden administration. We know that health care costs were way too high under the Biden administration. By the way, it's one of the reasons why the president announced yesterday that we're lowering prescription drug costs for all Americans by forcing Europeans and other countries to pay their fair share so that Americans can pay lower costs. So we obviously care a lot about lowering healthcare costs for Americans, but we're not going to engage in negotiation with hostage takers, which is exactly what the Democrats have done.
Here is Chuck Schumer now on the other side.
One of the things that Republicans are also doing, and they're doing in the White House press briefing, is the running sound of Democrats talking about shutdowns in the past, including sound of you. This is the type of thing you've said about shutdowns in the past. Let's listen.
What if I persuaded my caucus to say I'm going to shut the government down, I'm going to not pay our bills unless I get my way? It's a politics of idiocy, of confrontation, of paralysis. Shutting down government over a policy difference is self-defeating. We can never hold American workers hostage again. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down.
That was you 3 times in the past. Go ahead. What's different this time?
Yeah, that was in March, John, before they had done these horrible things to health care, before they had introduced these rescissions which would allow them to ignore the budget process. And the bottom line is when I was majority leader, we had 13 times to vote on a budget. Do you know why there was no shutdown? We sat and negotiated with the Republicans every time. They got some things, we got some things. They did not negotiate at all. They refused, despite repeated entreaties by Hakeem and me, to go to the White House, to sit down with Thune and Johnson. Look, if you want to know who wants a shutdown, look at the House. Johnson had the House adjourn all this week. So they couldn't even if the Senate had come up with a solution, they couldn't vote on it. But now that they've seen they can't bludgeon us, they can't roll us, hopefully they're going to sit down and negotiate now,
All
not
right.
kick the can
Come
down
on,
the road,
people.
which they've done.
Come on, people. You know what they need? Sister Mary Helen. That's what I said to my son. We were talking about it because it's like back and forth. I think most people just think, come on, let's get it together. Sister Mary Helen. I just picture her like, children, get it together. We're going to talk about the big story yesterday, and I did touch on this yesterday. Great interview coming up with Lieutenant Colonel, retired now, but Bob McGinnis will break down what does it mean with the Department of War, and what was that yesterday, and how does it go over with military members? So Peace Through Strength will take you through this great interview. This is a really quick little break, okay? I promise, just really quick, 1 or 2 minutes. Right back. This is must listen, must watch on YouTube with Lieutenant Colonel Bob Guinness just ahead.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
You can join Greg Stocker and yours truly for the 9/11 Heroes Run, the 5K, which is 3.1 miles, Sunday, October 5th. Join Team Kale and Company. Go to the website right now. It's on Twitter, on X. We just posted it. War Memorial Stadium. It's CB West High School's football stadium. That's where we're going to be.
1210WPHT.com is where the link is, so make sure you go there and register now. Just come out and have fun. Just support the cause.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit.
So that was, he used to be SecDef, Pete Hegseth, and now Secretary of the Department of War. And in fact, I noticed that now they even renamed, as far as the government, it's U.S. Department of War, war.gov. So renaming this, and you might say, well, this is the work of a warmonger. No, it's the opposite. So you prepare for war, right? Department of War, to prevent it. Peace through prosperity and strength, right? Through peace through strength. So let's welcome in my next guest, and this is retired Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis. I'm really honored to have you join me right now in your new book. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, good morning.
Oh, good morning. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. So I know we'll talk about your book, but just your take on yesterday, a huge show, and I know the liberal media having a very different take, but as somebody who actually at the highest levels has served in our United States military, what did you make of that? And thinking about, CNN and MSNBC saying, oh, and they made all those, the top military brass come together and to see this show, and it was more like a TV show, and they were very critical of it. But you're somebody who has served, and obviously as lieutenant colonel in the military, and we thank you for your service. What did you think of Pete Hegseth yesterday, of the words with Trump? What did you make of yesterday?
Yeah, well, the meeting at Quantico with the gathering was really historic. It put in place the start of a discipline reset, and hopefully this will be more than just a day of tough talk, but it's going to be a day of realignment. I've known Pete since he was at Princeton. He was my intern years
Oh
ago,
my
and
goodness.
and so he really understands the issues, not only having fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, but he's been focused on many of the issues that he talked about yesterday, as was echoed by President Trump. The readiness is an issue of grave importance. Warrior ethos, is something Pete talked about. And that's basically, we're focused on fighting, breaking things, killing people overseas, hopefully, to defend our interest around the world. And that's something that is got to really undergird the entire Defense Department. And then, of course, he talked about meritocracy, not ideology. And President Trump made it clear that, look, you do what you're told, and I have your back 100%. So that was encouraging, but up for years, and I spent up until this year a quarter of a century inside the Pentagon at the senior staff level. So I know what the Pentagon's about. And when Pete said he's tired of seeing fat generals walk the halls, I understand that perfectly well, because there are still a few of those overweight personnel that really don't set the example of grooming and fitness that we want in our senior leaders. He talked about trimming the bureaucracy. We have 830 something general flag officers. That's about 3 times per capita of those on active duty that we had during World War II. So, I think it's time that we start to lop off some heads. And obviously, Pete and President Trump are in that particular position. He talked about posture, which is basically where do we have our troops around the world to defend our vital interests. And he gave a shot in the arm that we're going to be prepared through our warrior ethos to defend our interest at home and abroad. And then finally, he talked about transparency. He's going to set high standards. He's going to have metrics for that. That's going to, obviously resonate with promotions and the like. I was just very impressed with what I heard, and I'm hopeful that they follow through as they promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think also, I'll say this, I know a lot of families whose sons are, serving right now currently, and especially moms. And we were going back and forth, and they were saying, oh, thank God, because I feel like my son is safer, because they're not worried about somebody who's, can't carry my son off any situation. Or, I think that's something that people aren't really talking about for military families, not just military readiness. But you have a son or daughter, but I was talking to women who are, they're moms of boys like I am, and they're saying, well, my son is safer. I feel better about this. I pray and I worry. What do is that something that, you feel encouraged by as far as then recruitment? Because you have a lot of families saying absolutely not in the previous administration. And I think that's part of why, one of the many reasons why we did have, with the exception of the Marines, had a problem with recruitment in our U.S. military.
Yeah, recruitment has been up since President Trump returned, and Pete has sent a very clear message of, the warrior ethic, because, Pete was an infantry officer and understands what it takes to fight. And, he said, look, he wants people that are capable of doing the mission, and a high standard. And we're going to train. We're not going to be distracted by DEI and all this other stuff that has in the past, under especially the Biden administration, dragged us down. Our adversaries are watching. They watched clearly. They watched yesterday, and they are probably scratching their heads saying, why would they bring all the general officers and senior non-commissioned officers into Quantico to listen to a speech? Well, I think what Pete has been doing since he's been there about 8 months now is to very, very clearly set standards and send a very clear message that, we are the Department of War, not the Department of Peace. We're prepared, if in the event that countries, demonstrate, a threat against us, we're prepared to, come to the rescue of our national interests. And unfortunately, I think we were perceived, especially after the 2021 debacle and withdrawal from Afghanistan, that, the country was perceived as being under weak leadership, not necessarily the men and women in the forces, but at the top. And as a result, I believe, and arguably, Vladimir Putin took that as a signal to invade in February of 2022 into Ukraine, and I believe it has energized the Chinese. So today we face a very, very serious threat across the world, not just from the Chinese, which are our primary adversary, but a growing threat from the Russians. And I've been to these countries. I've been in Ukraine. I've been stationed in Europe and in Asia. So, I'm not speaking, off the top of my head. I know what this is about. I've been there. I've seen these people, and so I'm very concerned. And I think that was resonated with what Pete said to those general officers, and I believe the generals, for the most part, listened very well yesterday, and they took this to the bank. They understand that we're in a very new age, in an era in which we're threatened by adversaries outside that would change the world order and threaten the United States and its future. So it was a well-received boost, and I think that the Pentagon is going to be going in the right direction in the future.
Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, the book is Preparing for World War III. Sounds like a dire title. Can you headline, first of all, why you wanted to write this book and why it's so timely right now?
Well, I wrote it last fall, and it was not knowing whether or not Biden was going to stay in the presidency. And of course, at the time I was in the Pentagon, and I saw firsthand the threats just mounting around us. And I've been encouraged since President Trump's return and since Pete's in the office and starting to, redirect this giant aircraft carrier in a direction that is going to defend our interests. However, now, having said that, the Chinese communists are really ramping up their capability. They just, of course, see trials for their third aircraft carrier. They're ratcheting up their nuclear arsenal in a way that is really sobering to us. Especially with hypersonics and the like. They're at war with us in artificial intelligence and with all the latest technology, either that they came up with on their own or that they stole from us. Meanwhile, of course, we've seen what happened with Iran, but Iran's not dead in the water. It's rebuilding. And, the Middle East is, somewhat in turmoil. But thanks to what we did with the Iranian nuclear program, at least we set it back for a bit. And North Koreans and the Russians and the Chinese, of course, met earlier in September in Tiananmen Square, and they went through a military parade with President Xi, and they saw all the mighty stuff that the Chinese are making, and they really consolidated under the Shanghai Cooperative Organization, kind of a counterpart to NATO or a global effort. And of course, they're trying to rewrite history and replace post-World War II international organizations such as the IMF and WTO and so forth. That's why BRICS has emerged and other entities are starting to emerge to really begin to change not only the direction of the world, but who has the levers to control the world. So we're really up against a major effort here, and it's not just in one country. And I'm glad that President Trump has taken charge and understands the economics of this world as well as the geopolitical and security threats that we face. These are very challenging times, and I believe that what Pete said yesterday to the generals, it may have been a sobering call and a wake-up call, but it was one that was necessary.
And you even wrote, when I ordered your book, Preparing for World War III, on the Amazon little write-up, it said something to the effect of it that America is, it was written at this time, is unprepared to fight the quote unquote axis of evil. And so, like you've said, as you were working on this, I know that you're heartened by what you're seeing, but what else does this administration need to do? Because obviously, you know, to be blunt, sounds like we were really slacking off, and now it's catch-up time. But, you know, that's an opportunity for enemies around the world.
Yeah, there are a number of studies done by Heritage Foundation as well as the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee that, you know, were publicized and demonstrate clearly that all but the Marine Corps were mostly under equipped and undermanned for much more than a one theater, you know, war. So a world war, like say World War I, mostly World War II, where we fought on multiple theaters, we just don't have the personnel. Our military today, to include reserves and National Guard, is a little over 2 million, but the active forces are about 1.3 million. Back in World War II, we had up to 16 million on active duty. Now, yeah, if you look at what the Pentagon publishes, they've been publishing since 2000 an analysis of the Chinese military, and you know that will come out probably in a month or two, the next edition. But I've read every one of those, and most recently we've seen a radical improvement in Chinese capability, especially in missiles. Well, what have we been doing over the last 3 years since Ukraine started? We've been sending some of our best equipment over in that direction. Now, of course, it's helpful that President Trump says, okay, we're not going to give it to you anymore. We're going to make the NATO and allies buy it and give it to the Ukrainians if that's what they want to do. But we've got a major catch-up effort. You know, what I did in the Pentagon before I left earlier this year was work on exactly what I'm talking about, the weapons, the sales, and in some cases, the security assistance giveaways that we did to Ukraine and even to our good allies in Israel. And so we have drained our arsenals to a point that is, I think, very precarious. And so what Pete is saying is we're going to increase it, as we should. But that comes with some pain and a hefty price tag. So we have to do that. We have to probably pivot some of our forces. We need NATO to, you know, step up and allow us to refocus on the Pacific. You know, this was something Obama tried to do years ago, but we weren't able to do it because we were tied down in Europe and tied down in the Middle East for a variety of reasons, some of which are justifiable. So we have all of these issues that we're dealing with. And I believe that if we don't settle them in a way that's favorable to us, that, you know, things could go to hell very quickly.
God. Well, Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, Preparing for World War III. Can't wait to read the book. I haven't read it yet, but I did order it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you come back again. But an important message and a very important book to read. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well. So it's, Preparing for World War III. It looks like a good book. And my son Michael's like, can I read that first?
I knew he got it from Michael. I knew it was from
know.
Michael. Yeah. Seems like right up his alley.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The one question I forgot to ask him was, because I know in there it has a suggestion about some suggestions thinking about faith and Christians. We're seeing this uprising of people, especially since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and more of those conversations. So we'll save that for next time. But the book looks fantastic, and he's really so experienced and interesting. I also thought the most important line, although I know Secretary Hegseth was very impressive yesterday, when President Trump, who was kind of joking around and trying to lighten things up because Hegseth was very intense, but when President Trump just said, hey, just so you know, I have your backs 100%. To me, that was the drop microphone moment of the entire presentation. You know, Pete Hegseth had that was really an intense, if you didn't see the whole thing, you could watch it on YouTube. It was intense.
Message to you is very simple. I am with you. I support you. And as president, I have your backs 100%. You'll never see me even waver a little bit. It's the way it is.
That was it. Mic drop moment. And they all knew it. Nodding. They knew it. It was a fantastic moment with our military, the commander-in-chief. And I'll go so far as to say that this whole defund, fill in the blank, military, police, and also the whole neutering of men movement, all that stuff, it's done. Can't define a woman. I just felt like yesterday was another, boom, turning point. We're done with that. That's it. We're not going to have these conversations anymore. It's done. And that was that moment. And I just said, thank God. Thank God for that. It was a great moment. We needed it. So and I will say this, in the military, law enforcement, it does, this theme goes together hand in hand. All this DEI crap that we've had. And by the way, in corporations, I don't know if you know this or not, but in the vast majority of corporations, everybody I know working in the corporate world, it's all done. It was all, they were going along with it. It's all those Department of DEI, they've removed them. It's just done. So if anybody thought that was a permanent thing, it wasn't. They just went along with it because there was money. That's it.
I mean, in case they're just tuning in, I got to make sure to censor it, but...
What?
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
it.
Yep. That was, but what I'm saying here, just to be clear, is that Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth, he said it yesterday. Trump, gave that message, but in the corporate world, right? If by March, I'll say by May, between March and May, everybody I know, they said, oh yeah, we got rid of that department. We got rid of that. And so the corporate, and this is not anti one group. No, that's not it. It's just that within these individuals, especially in the corporate world, they're saying, no, you be you, but at the highest level of performance. We're not going to have these boxes and check the boxes and like a parakeet in a cage looking at the mirror, pecking away at the mirror, looking at me. It's all about me and my issues. No, that's not. We're moving on. So whether you're in the military, whether you're in the private sector, you're going to work at the highest level of performance, and we're all going to be fit again, mentally fit, physically fit, etc. So I think it does go hand in hand, but the government is after the corporate world, which already is done with all of that. So thank God. 855-839-1210. All right, I got to talk about my guys because, I love my friends at Marvin E. Cans. And by the way, this is a family-owned, family-run company. These are great guys and military veteran-founded company as well. You're probably loving this weather, as we all are. October 1st, here we are. I mean, it's so beautiful and crisp, gorgeous day in the low 70s. Loving this weather, saving money right now on your HVAC, no doubt. But have you been putting off in getting your old AC or furnace replaced? Stop with the procrastination. There are some tax credits up to nearly $3,000, as well as the rebates up to $1,700, and they're expiring soon. So call my guys, Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Replace that old unit with a Trane furnace, Trane. So a Trane furnace, an AC unit, or heat pump. Hard to stop a train. Marvin E. Cans, KANZE.com, Marvin E. Cans. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by First Harvest Credit Union.
A quiet and pleasant weather pattern continues to set up across the Delaware Valley. Plenty of sunshine today with a high temperature back near average at 73. For tonight, mostly clear. It'll be cool, low 53 for the city, 40s out in the suburbs. And for Thursday, expect a mixture of sunshine and clouds and very comfortable with a high near 70.
Harvest the rewards of smart banking at First Harvest Credit Union. Open a growth checking account and earn as high as 2% annual percentage yield while enjoying flexible access to funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth checking for details. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Horizon Plumbing and Electrical knows the best way to handle that dripping pipe or flickering light isn't just wishing it'll go away on its own. Good news for you. You don't have to think too hard to take care of these issues, thanks to our free, no-obligation plumbing or electrical safety inspection with any paid service. The experts at Horizon will fix any small problems before they become big, expensive ones, and even have 0% interest financing available on repairs and replacements. Enough with the wishful thinking. Book today at horizonservices.com.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
The most important phone call you'll make in retirement is 800-722-9728. It's your retirement lifeline. Call 800-722-9728 to begin your crash-proof retirement. No fees, no market risk, and principal protection. And every penny you earn is yours to keep. That's 800-722-9728 to learn more about the exclusive crash-proof retirement system, which has withstood nearly 2 decades of market volatility and has never lost a penny of our over 6,000 clients' nest eggs. It's the way retirement should be: safe, secure, and crash-proof. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 7th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
From North Wales to Willingboro, we know your favorite stations, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So I know that a lot of times, thanks for listening, by the way, and thanks for watching on YouTube. Appreciate you. Sorry about the problems at the top. I want to just go to something that I know there are people within the Trump administration who watch or listen, whether it's on the, maybe not live, sometimes it is, but I have no doubt that they do watch and listen. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, the YouTube channel. And here's one more piece of evidence. So last Friday on Kale and Company, we were joshing around because it's Farish Friday. So, you know, Sean Farish, he's on, and then he's like, wait, I'll get the sombrero and one of his props. We always tease around about his props. So in that, he grabs the sombrero, puts it on, and we're laughing and yakking it up. Then, what was the timeline, Dan? Over the weekend, or at some point, they're busting the chops of Hakeem Jeffries as they put him behind Schumer, but he looks like Sean Farish. So they literally threw AI, like they draw a Sean like at first glance, I thought it was Sean goofing around. Okay, I did. I thought it was Sean Farish, actually, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And they did, but Hakeem they made him look like Sean Farish. And then they put the sombrero on. And that's why I thought it was Sean. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT to see the visual.
So now if you look at this AI thing that Trump now puts up under Donald J. Trump on his actual, so they're kidding around. It's hysterical. And then they did the AI audio where you see Schumer, and they're just being goofy. It's hysterical. I don't know if you have the audio. Do you have the audio at all?
New voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
Oh, yeah, I had to bump that one.
Little S. So then you had, oh my gosh, so Democrats were losing their minds and saying that this was racist. It's just a joke, first and foremost. But I'm suggesting they got the idea because somebody from the Trump administration, obviously they thought Sean Farish was hysterical. So I don't know if you have the Sean, this is like a bit that he does, Farish. And he does a thing with a sombrero, and he's so funny. But I'm saying, look.
You want it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I misfired there.
go.
There you
That's
go.
right.
There we go.
Premature.
Hello, Americanos y bienvenidos al cierre de Schumer. That means welcome to the Schumer shutdown. We call it the Schumer siesta, right? It's the Schumer siesta. He put the government on siesta, crying Chuck. And El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries, we used to call him Dollar Store Obama, till we realized he's worth far less than $1. But they put the government on siesta to give illegal aliens your health care. We're not going to let it happen. I looked at both of them. I said, we're not going to let it happen. It's no bueno. I said, it's no bueno. They begged me. They said, but senor, por favor, please give illegal aliens the health care. I said, we're not going to do it. We're never going to do it. It's not going to happen. And they're also very upset about our big, beautiful sombreros. You look at them. These are the greatest sombreros the world has ever seen. We really have the best sombreros.
Pause right there. For those listening, just bent
Thank
down
you.
and there's a Trump-branded sombrero that he has on.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So he's got the sombrero. And by the way, Hakeem Jeffries, who photoshopped himself and made his hips look thinner, which, dude, that's such a girl thing to do.
No, he did it.
He did.
Did he really?
He did.
I missed that one.
Only a girl with, I would know that you can do that, but you can, which I told Nick. Full disclosure, Nick Cale has asked me to do it. Greg wouldn't let me for our most recent publicity photo for Cale & Co. But, yeah, you can do it, and Hakeem Jeffries did it.
I didn't know.
So
wow.
Hakeem Jeffries is wishing he were as thin and tall as Farish, okay? Number one. But number two, I'm suggesting that they got the idea. So now the Democrats are losing their collective minds because that is just funny. The whole premise of it, it's all funny, and they don't like that they got out-memed or whatever. And then you had Schumer just like yesterday. He goes, and that is not my voice. It's like, dude, we know.
Obviously.
It's AI. He's like, and that is not my voice, just so you know that is, I did not say those things. And then Hakeem Jeffries basically did the same thing. So they actually think that this is an outrage, that people saw that on social media and thought it was them, which is even funnier. Now it gets just... You can't even make this up.
How dumb are they? I don't mean to use that word, but
right?
it's
living rent free in their brains.
Here's the picture of Hakeem for you, Dawn.
So look,
yeah,
you can look.
Look
so
at the
there
bench.
he is. I fully admit. So look at how thin he made himself. I've done that before. It's really easy to do. You can get the app.
Can
yes.
you teach me? Teach me your ways.
Of course I can.
Teach me your ways.
But no, my kids won't let me because I used to touch up like every photo. And just a little tweaking.
Well, you don't know that benches, the backs of benches curve around the body when you lean on it?
Well, I would have done it better, but I'm not allowed to do it anymore. Like the butt, you know what I mean? Like you can do all that stuff. It's magic. It's the coolest thing ever. But my kids are like, Mom, you made all of our teeth look like they're like, I don't know, glowing.
you whiten the teeth too?
Oh, totally.
So you whiten the teeth.
They won't let me do it anymore.
Do you like bring in the jawline at all?
Oh,
Straighten
I
the
could do
jawline?
everything for a while.
Yeah.
We have a series of, I don't know when it was, like a couple of years ago when all that stuff first came out. And they're like, Mom, you're not allowed. So then I was banned from the AI makeover stuff. They won't let me do it.
This reminds me of Maisie and me and Maisie. I'm just thinking of
Maisie
both.
and I, my wife and I.
We watch a lot of reality television,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something we talk about often. And America's Next Top Model, a lot of how they would Photoshop and take you behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
were you a fan of that show back then?
Nope. I never watched TV.
No,
Never.
it wasn't out of like you just didn't like the vibe. It was you just didn't care.
I'm just running around. I'm just trying. Dan, I just watched The Wire for the first time with my son.
How's that going? Where are you now?
No, we're done.
Good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Next up, Sopranos.
I did watch The Sopranos because it
Okay.
was on Sundays back in the day. So Larry and I did watch that with Jonathan and Stacia back in the day.
Breaking Bad.
It lost me
Okay.
because of the wife. I don't know why the wife wasn't like loyal. I don't know what that was.
No, you're not the only one. I think she lost a lot
She
of people.
lost me because
Yeah.
I'm too I'm loyal.
Yeah.
And she wasn't.
Shut up! Shut up!
See?
Shut up!
And I'm not a screamer, at least. I'm not a screamer like that.
I know.
But well, in those, what can I say?
Yeah, maybe we could break
I'm not a screamer. Like in the daytime moments. Let's say it like that. Spank me. Yeah.
Whoa.
Too much information. We're getting on that. And poor Dave Scalish, our award-winning broadcast
I
pioneer,
don't think you hear this.
legendary engineer. He can't hear us anyway, but he's fixing stuff. We having more technical problems?
No. He's just now. So taking people behind the scenes. Actually,
Yeah.
if you go to youtube.com/@12WPHT,
Where's your
I can
camera?
put on my camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put on your
I just don't look
camera.
good today.
Oh, please.
Here I am.
Will you stop it? Let's see Dan.
Yeah, see, you should see the dust in the studio. Is what Dave's saying. First off,
Okay.
but you see in his hand
There's-
right there. Can you show the camera there, Dave? What he's working on.
Which camera am I?
We're talking
this
about
guy
you.
right here.
Right
You
here.
got-
No, turn
no,
around.
turn around.
Turn around.
Right there.
Oh, hello there.
Yeah.
There's and look at that hair. Dave
That's the back
Scalish.
of the
He's so handsome.
phone module that puts all of our loyal listener callers on the air.
So,
and
you, Dave.
and sometimes our board operators will actually spill something in the console, which
Did that
there's
happen
evidence. It's happened over
No.
WIP.
Do you have evidence of that happening?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and at WIP.
Can we start like a on-air kind of like mystery of who spilt the drink?
Shame.
Well, you know what? At this point, once the damage is done, it really doesn't matter. And we need everybody here, so we'll give you a pass on the first.
Shame. He's such a sweetheart.
Shame.
Delco guy. Dave
Shame.
Scalish, broadcast pioneer, getting that big award.
Just show the front of that real quick if you could.
Oh.
Because that's what the front of the panel looks like.
Yes.
And then when you call us, each of those little lights flash, and then we can, put you on air.
So he fixed YouTube. So Dave Scalish actually knows science and math.
Like the
Basically,
pose
he's
there,
way
Dave.
smarter than me.
You see that post? youtube.com/@12WPHT. Very little
So.
behind the scenes look.
Brilliant, fabulous Dave Scalish, award-winning, by the way, recent broadcast pioneer.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I know Scalish can't hear me because he doesn't have headsets on, but that's
Well,
right.
you can blame him for that.
That's all right.
He can't hear you.
What? Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Hello, test the level.
Congratulations.
Thank
sir.
you very, very much. It's most unexpected, but accepted with so much gratitude.
We love
Thank you.
All right, we love you too. Quick break. Dawn show. We're off the hook, off the rails, and quick break. And remember, Dom show, Dom Giordano. Oh my gosh, amazing Dom show. But we'll take a quick break. Be right back.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. For years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Omega-3s as part of my daily routine. They support a healthy heart, cholesterol levels, reduce inflammation, and provide joint comfort. Taking them is one of the easiest things I can do for my health. Now it's your turn. Give your body the support it needs to stay healthy, strong, and active with one of Rescue's Omega-3 supplements. Right now, use that code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any Rescue Omega-3 supplement, including their most popular Rescue 1250. Call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code OMEGA50 online at res-q.com. Remember the code OMEGA50. That's OMEGA50 to buy one and get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free at res-q.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
A developing story, a news tidbit here, the U.S. Department of War putting out the statement and the announcement that in accordance with President Trump's guidance and in alignment with the U.S.-Iraq Higher Military Commission, they are working with an Iraq transition right now. Coalition partners reducing its military mission in Iraq. So this reduction is combining success in fighting ISIS and marks U.S. efforts to transition now. So the only transition that's happening in the U.S. military is the one happening in Iraq, Dom Giordano.
Well, Dawn, were you sitting on that for the last half hour during that break?
I was just trying to think of like a news.
Yeah, well, yes, that's a headline. No transition,
I do like it.
except in Iraq. Yeah, oh, that's a good headline.
Thank you, sir.
Dawn, just off Newsmax, and the Democrat who was on tried to tell me that the people on Obamacare are all people that work for themselves and have businesses and all, and that's why we ought to be for these extensions of Obamacare. It was nuts.
Right.
That's right. Small business people out there, that's what they're doing. Jeff Van Drew will give us a reality check on all that. And the Chinese flag flying over Philadelphia, say it ain't so.
A great Dom show, as always, right now.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello. Today's cutting-edge appliances are technologically advanced with many features designed to make life easier. To ensure the appliances you choose accomplish that, it's important to compare and explore a variety of options at once. That's why at National Appliance Warehouse, we created an incredible showroom for customers to do just that. 6 times the size of an average chain store, our showroom is large enough to display the over 100 brands we sell. And I'm not the only guru. Our whole team of friendly professionals not only answer questions, but suggest questions to ask so that you end up with the perfect appliances for you.
It's time to fall into savings at National Appliance Warehouse. There's still time to enjoy huge savings on GE appliances. Save up to 34% on select GE appliances. Browse an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's the first federal government shutdown in nearly 7 years, but it's the third one under President Trump. Democrats and Republicans deadlocked over including health care funding in a stopgap spending bill. Now on Wall Street, that uncertainty has investors a little worried, but with more signs of weakness in the labor market, with 32,000 fewer private sector jobs in September, that is fueling hopes of another interest rate cut from the Fed when it meets a little later this month. And that's why the Dow is actually a little higher, up 0.1%. The Nasdaq down 0.1%, the S&P is flat. Gold prices hitting another record high today, topping $3,900 an ounce for a time. That's amid all the uncertainty in Washington and in the economy. And saying its customers really demand it, the world's largest retailer, Walmart, now plans to remove all synthetic dyes from its U.S. store brand foods by January of 2027. It's also getting rid of artificial sweeteners, fat substitutes, and preservatives from those brands. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Hi, I'm Matt from Emmons Roofing and Siding. And did you know we're locally owned, fully licensed and insured, and trusted by thousands of homeowners per year? We treat your home like it's our home.
Emmons is who I use. They install top quality roofing, siding, windows, doors, and even decks. For a free estimate, call Emmons today at 856-556-3229.
The most expensive project is the one you do twice. So call us today at 856-556-3229 or visit callemmons.com.
That's callemmons.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Another government shutdown as predicted yesterday. And, you know, the results of this are always great theater. It's just on Newsmax. And the Democrat, his arguments about Obamacare and the fraud that's probably involved with this, why would we extend it? It was supposed to be just through COVID, is these are really entrepreneurially